I had never made one before. And this is actually the first leg that I ever carved, a ball and claw foot. And then, of course, she got the chair with two more ball and claw feet on it.
So you made an extra leg? You kept this one?
You know, this one I just kept because it was the first one, kind of a learning leg, you might say. It hasn't been completely finished. As you can see, it's still got raw carving marks on it.
But that's hand carved, huh?
That's all hand carved.
That is amazing. Beautiful work.
All my Queen Anne legs are handmade.
That is beautiful. Now, what is this piece here?
This piece here is a Chippendale mirror that is in cherry that I made and for a person, and I'm almost at the point of putting the finish on it.
And that's beautiful. Now, how did you?
Made out of cherry.
This is made out of cherry. Tell me about how you cut these designs in the top and bottom.
Well, the designs are cut on a scroll saw, which is a real fine blade that will actually split a pencil line, and it cuts it so smooth you don't need to come back and sand the edges. The frame itself here is done on a molding machine, which I have, and have special cutters made to do my moldings.
Now, scroll saws aren't that expensive, are they?
Well, the one I have is, I bought it 20 years ago. I think I gave $1,200 for it. Now you can buy them for $200 and $300.
Good gracious. But if somebody wanted to, if you're getting somebody motivated out there watching this today, would these be very difficult to do?
They're not difficult to do. The biggest problem with any type of furniture like this is finding the patterns or doing the patterns. I know for years I wanted to do a certain piece of furniture, and there was no patterns or drawings or anything of them, and I had to take it off a piece of furniture myself, go and measure it or whatever. And there was a company here in town that started probably about 40 years ago called Caricraft. And when they went out of business, I bought their patterns. And that gave me a big inventory of legs and bed posts and that kind of thing. So I use a lot of those and combine them with other pieces to make different types of furniture.
How about another interesting thing? Are you able to find all of the wood that you use locally, or do you have to order it off or something?
Well, the wood is not hard to find. You can get all you want if you know where to get it from. You do have to have a wholesale supplier that will sell it to you in fairly small quantities. A lot of wholesale suppliers, they don't want to mess with a small guy unless you're going to buy a whole truckload of wood from them. But I have a company in Raleigh that I order my wood from, that I can order several hundred board foot at a time. And I can get any hardwood, any wood that's available if anybody wants.
But now, can I, for a weekender project guy who wanted to try to do something on the weekends, can you get, is most of this readily available at Lowe's or Home Depot, or no?
No, hardwood lumber is sold by the board foot, and these people don't know how to sell it, because every piece of wood is going to cost you a different amount of money depending on the length, the width, and the thickness. And the hardwood lumber business, there is no supplier in Rocky Mount. There is some in Raleigh. Over the years, I have sold some, bought some for people. Whenever I'm ordering wood and they want 25 foot or so, I'll order it for them whenever.
Now, I know a little bit about teak wood. Teak wood is, correct me if I'm wrong, that's what they used to build the old ships out of for the bow, because they still use it on the inside. Where does teak wood come from?
Well, teak wood comes from the Pacific, and there are several different species and different qualities of it. It is kind of a hard wood to machine in that it has silica in it. That is sand. And it's hard on blades. It's hard to get a good glue joint. It's got kind of an oily feel to it. And you have to use a special glue, and watch out for your tools.
So teak wood is tough on your tools, then?
Teak wood is a little tough on the tools.
I didn't know that.
as well as old pine. Now, I do a lot of work out of old pine that comes out of houses all around Nash County, Edgecombe County, or wherever we can find it to build furniture out of. Some of that wood is, 200 years old.
There have been in the area in Edgecombe County and Nash County, I know specifically Edgecombe, there was the joinery, which is now closed. He dealt in wood from all over the country, the planet, I think. There was the Oakcrest Manufacturing that came to Tarboro for a while. They made the roll top desk. These companies are coming, and they make a beautiful product, and they look like they're making it in mass production. Maybe that was a problem. What do you think is the root of the evil that brings the empire down on these wood companies?
Well, it's like everything else. It's China. They are a lot of the furniture companies here. You can look in the paper every week, and you can see where 2 or 3 different furniture store companies are closing in North Carolina, and it's all going to China overseas.
Oh, so we're talking about what do you call it, outsourcing and stuff for.
I mean, you still have name brands, but a lot of the name brands, all their furniture now is being made overseas and being imported here, and High Point has got to be more of a shipping point rather than a making point.
And I spent a little time up north, and funny thing is, when I'm up north, you always hear about North Carolina. People come to the Carolinas. You mentioned High Point. That was one of the places. They come to the Carolinas from all over the U.S. to buy furniture because supposedly it's cheaper to buy it here. I know we still make furniture over at Cotton Belt in Pine Tops. Do you feel that North Carolina is still a good producer of furniture?
Not as much as we have been, and we're really dropping every week as to how much is produced here. You have a lot of small companies that are producing furniture, like Cotton Belt, which they wouldn't count themselves small, but if you put them up against Hinkle Harris, they would be small. But you got a mattress manufacturer here in town that manufactures mattresses, and you've got some places still surviving in the market that's being able to, but it's hard to compete against the labor from overseas.
Okay, let's take a second and walk around your shop, and I want you to tell me, you pick out the machine and tell me all about it here. I see we have a table saw here, it looks like.
Yeah, I have 2 table saws. This one is where I do my primary ripping, cutting with the grain of the wood. This one over here has a sliding table on it. That's for squaring up large panels, cutting plywood, this type thing on that saw there.
And this looks like a lathe.
This one is set up to do freehand turning. The one over here is set up with a duplicator to duplicate a pattern. In other words, you turn a pattern on this one and you put it on that lathe over there, and then you can duplicate as many times as you want to.
Such as a spindle for a stairwell or something?
Yeah, or a bedpost.
Or a bedpost.
Any type of leg or whatever you may be turning.
And what are these small tools here for?
These are lathe tools that you use when you're actually turning a spindle or so forth, that you use to cut your different designs into the wood. And
now what do we have here? You told me about this earlier. This is
50-inch drum sander. That's for sanding straight pieces of wood, flat pieces of wood, tops and so forth, to get a good sanding surface on it. The machine back over here, when it comes out of this machine, it goes to that machine. That's called a stroke sander, where you actually stroke the wood with the pad going back and forth to put a little finer finish on the piece of wood. When it comes out of here, I usually put the piece together, and then I have to do some sanding before I do the finish work on it. This is a 12-inch disc sander that does a good job rounding corners and so forth. I spend a lot of money on sanding because I hate to do it so bad. Bandsaw used to cut crooked lines, curves, anything